What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. And today, more bad news. For this time, Intel. As of today, 22 additional jobs have been cut. It's insane, guys. Look at this. Intel. For the past 2 years, 3 years consecutively, they have been laying off ridiculously high. And, in the beginning, it wasn't too bad. In 2024, 15,000 in the San Francisco Bay Area was let go. That's 15% of their workforce. Then 58 in 2025 of February. Interesting, right? And then lo and behold, as of today, 22,000. 22,000. We're not talking about 2,200. We're not talking about 220. Even though if it was 220, I still feel like that's pretty high for a layoff. But to let go 22,000 people in one day is insane. So let's take a look at what's going on. Intel's rise and fall timeline of what went wrong. So if you guys are interested in how Intel became about, I remember as a young junior networking admin getting into the field for the first time, Intel was everywhere. And I'm saying everywhere. They had little figurines with the Intel people. I'll show you guys right now. Intel, I forgot. There was definitely commercials on TV about these Intel people. Dolls. I think they look like, if you didn't know, this was it. I actually had a couple of these and I wish I kept them. I don't know what happened to them. I'm really upset about that. But anyway, then the Pentium 2s and Pentium 3s came out. They were like these little bricks. Were pretty interesting. But let's go over the article right now. Intel is reporting cutting 20% of its workforce under a new CEO. I mean, what kind of CEO just comes in and just starts whacking jobs? It almost sounds like, someone we know that's currently happening in the United States. But Intel has definitely lost the innovative touch. It used to be a market where Intel was the most dominant and AMD was just a side chip that kept on crashing machines and it was unstable. And for the life of me, I would never adjust to it. I don't know what happened in between that time. AMD has come up on, above the ranks to where it is today. And that's insanely tactical of them to stay in the game for so long, because there was a period of time where I felt like AMD was just going to fail, just how Intel is failing now, because it wasn't innovative enough, or it wasn't stable, wasn't reliable, whatever it was. 20% out of the 108,900 person workforce, and it was announced as intent to cut down its workforce this week. Per the Bloomberg report released Tuesday, the move, which impacted over 21,000 roles in Intel's biggest round of layoffs yet, aims to reduce layers of bureaucracy, cut costs, and focus more on engineering roles. A perfect saying was, it wasn't even trimming the fat. At this point, you're cutting the muscle from the body. And how are you going to survive when you're down to a minimal core set of people, which are probably going to be overworked? Pressure is going to build upon them. There's going to be tension arising. There's going to be a lot of anger, right? You're looking and seeing these people that you worked with for so long and they're just being let go. Chip-making veteran and his formerly CEO of chip software company Cadence Design System from 2009 to 2021 is now tasked with turning Intel around after 3 years of declining revenue and increased competition from Nvidia and AMD. I'm not sure how you can turn around things when you're eliminating your own army to turn things around where that's where your talent would be. So if anything, 21,000 people who are looking for roles in the same sector or same job, responsibility that they were doing, possibly landing roles in Nvidia and AMD or other chip makers, they can easily just kind of take whatever whatever Intel was popular, whatever designs they had, concepts, projects, that's all going to go out the door at this point. You don't have loyalty, that's for sure. So that's going to hurt them in many ways. Just because you're cutting costs doesn't mean you're doing yourself a favor. But when you have so much talent leaving all at one time, that's a huge impact. The move to cut staff comes months after sweeping rounds of layoffs. In August, Intel announced plans to cut 15,000 jobs after reporting 1.6 billion net lost for the second quarter of 2024. That's insane amount of money to lose. The layoffs went into effect by end of 2024. Chipmakers stated its intent in August to reduce costs by $10 billion in 2025 through layoffs, restructuring, and cost cuts. Now, The problem I feel with Intel, one of the core things that they did not take up, and I feel like that's where they failed, was here. It was stated very clearly in the decline of Intel in the early 2000s, the early era of mobile computing. Intel and golden opportunity to get in the ground floor. Apple asked Intel to help supply chips to power the iPhone in 2007. I keep saying 2020. I'm so dated now. The Intel CEO Paul Otellini, I think that's how you say that, declined the deal on the premise that he thinks the iPhone was going to be a high volume, didn't think the iPhone was going to be a high volume business. Oh boy, was he wrong, right? Apple ended up going with the ARM-based chip, and today ARM dominates the mobile space. Compact, small, not crazy overheating. Intel's decline is also a testament to the intense competition in the market. Rival chip maker have been actively aiming at Intel for multiple fronts. In 2017, AMD introduces Ryzen processors. Yes, as soon as AMD started releasing the Ryzen processors, that's when I started buying into them, and I felt like everything was cured, right? The stability, the no crashes, and everything was reliable at that point, and people were definitely supporting it from a, putting things together, motherboards, hard drive, like the OS was just stable at this point. They definitely had a lot of years of experience to tweak all that, providing comparable or superior performance to the equivalent Intel chip of the day at a lower price. Yes, Ryzen's AMD was always at a lower price, even to this day. Ryzen chips are definitely lower priced. Every processor that I have running in my house right now is an AMD chip, and Intel is just if I have it, it's only because I brought it over from like 20 plus years ago, and it just never got rid of it. So here is the current layoff.fyi, Intel and all its layoff. I do not see Intel being a sustainable company at this point, with like decrease in stock price, decrease in workforce, and nothing really innovative at this point in time. And my point of all that is, again, now you have 22,000 plus, all right? You have 22,000 plus another 15,000 back in 2024. Rough estimate, because of all the couple of hundred layoffs that they had in between, you have about 37,000, maybe 38,000 employees that were cut from Intel, and those particular individuals are now on the job market, and I'm pretty sure it hits every department, and cybersecurity, IT, and so on and so forth. So there's plenty of diversity there. I don't think they can entirely eliminate any one department entirely, because if that was the case, then you really don't have a functioning organization at this point, and there's no way you can compete. I'm not sure how they would compete, but I just wanted to share that with you guys right now. We're in 2025 of April. We just finished first quarter, and we're hearing nothing but bad news in the IT technology sector. So keep in mind that, there is going to be some challenges. Yes, there are still some people landing jobs, but there's also, just as of today, 22,000 people lost their jobs. So I don't know where the balance is. I don't think anyone or any website can really keep track of the momentum of the shifts that are happening on a day-to-day basis, which is pretty crazy in my opinion. Just wanted to share that with you guys. Hopefully you enjoy this, and hit that like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again really soon. Take care.